So I thought I'd share his room and how I've changed it into the meditation room for him. And this is a breathing mandala that helps with breath. And I thought I'd share with you some things, you know, some things that he would have probably shared with you, whoever you are, like his books and all Carlos Castaneda, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, and just those were he had a lot more books which I still haven't unpacked. These were some of the favorite things he had. But this is going to be, well, this is now a meditation room, and that's one way. I didn't throw anything out of his, of course. I would never do that, and I would never do rash things. I started wearing one of his shirts while I was gardening. So there are things you can do to heal yourself by honoring the person you love, you know. And this was the altar he had while he was, going through his process of the journey. Hi, baby. How are you? It's good to see you. Nice surprise. And so I'm a big believer in having more than one altar. It's just how I roll. And there is something about creating a room like that if you're lucky. I used to live in a 250-foot cottage, and one room was the bedroom. 250 foot or 350 foot. It was tiny, let me just say. One room looked like this, and the other one was where I slept, which looked like this, but it was a sleeping room. And okay, so I'm going to talk about, so have a seat right here and let's talk. All right? Enjoy, relax, and breathe into the mantra that you're hearing right now, probably in the background. Ghosting your twin is probably the thing you will regret in your incarnation. Ghosting your twin, it will bring you nothing but pain. And your door will not be open if they break open. Right? If they have something to say, they will not be able to say it if you block them, clearly. The door should always be left cracked open. And you should be clear that you've done that for them. I don't care how angry they are. I don't care how angry you are. Anger is a monkey mind, dangerous sword to wield decisions, final decisions, right? And so never block your twin. I remember blocking my twin, and this is coming from experience, just so you know. And he had just texted me. I know this because we got back together, and I was looking through some of the texts I'd sent him, just to kind of get a sense of our journey in separation. And in the text, I saw him saying, I love you, I'm sorry, but I never got it because it had been blocked. I had blocked him. And I regret that. So learn from someone who's actually lived it and who's seen the end results on both sides of the equator, if you will, of the chasm created by the false ego. Completely agree, exactly. And so you're going to have to move into a place of, you're going to have to force yourself to forgive their fuckery or their ignorance or their denial, and which is causing the running. Oh, by the way, this is something he adored. He loved to give me foot massages and reflexology. It's a chart you can get on Amazon, but he's incredibly brilliant. And these are all these posters that you're seeing. He sent them to me, when we were in separation, believe it or not. It's totally, and I wasn't able to put his room together to that level because the hospital bed was taking up so much room. But these are the kinds of rooms we would create for ourselves and each other, And so it's a place of relaxation. There's no furniture really. There's a rocking chair, belongs to my grandmother. My mother. I'm sitting on it. But we always had altars like this. Like if you see Buddha and his consort, and Krishna and Garuda, and these two lamps, which I'm going to light today, are a representation of him and I, Ganesh. And what's missing on this altar, just to be clear, is flowers, which I'm going to go get. Flowers in a clear vase, or turquoise or pink or whatever, but make sure it's clear, because the water has to be seen by the naked eye. So you want an altar that represents, I just reposted a video on altars. All the altars you see on that video that I just reposted are all the altars I had from 2018 onward. No matter where I lived, I had a suitcase with all my stuff to create altars, right? So there's a sense of freedom when your twin has left their bodies and they're finally in their power. Like the dark night of the soul that you have gone through, like, in separation will never, by the way, 23, that was his number. So that's him saying, I'm here. That dark night of the soul will never, it's never going to happen again like that. It's the weirdest thing I can tell you. I can tell you that for a fact. Because when you're finally in union with your twin and you've transformed your relationship from flame to ray, and you're like in awe that you're seeing it happen, and as they progress through the ending of this incarnation, and all of this is being healed, all of their hurt, your hurt, the misunderstandings, the ego-driven fuckeries, all of that, it just collapses into nothing, into water. And what matters is the purity of each other's souls. Like, you don't have time to fucking ghost your twin. Because that nectar is yours to have at some point after you've been ground to dust, after they've been ground to dust by the universe. It will come if you're patient, if you're not just waiting for the nookie. If you're waiting for the nookie and all you want to do is get laid, I'm just going to be... because some of you aren't twins. Some of you are not twins. You're just wanting the nookie. And that's not a twin flame journey. The twin flame journey is the tantric sexuality, the intimacy that surpasses anything you've ever encountered. Anything. It's sublime. It's magical. The transformation of being able to manifest magic out of nowhere when you're in union and in league with your twin is unheard of. The telepathy and the connection and the past life downloads you'll get are real. The synchronicities and numbers that were placed in front of you before you were born to show you the signs that you guys are together, that you guys are twins. These numbers that can't be made up. These are numbers of your births and numbers that connect with your name. Numbers that, and all the numbers reflect each other's connection, the tie. All of these synchronicities are absolutely, without a doubt, real. And twin flames, in the very beginning, if you met in the 70s, 80s, you knew there was a connection, but you probably didn't know it was a twin flame. As you progressed into the 90s, and it got harder and harder, especially if you were in separation like I was for 27 years, ultimately 33 years. But the first separation was 27 years. And you can't get him out of your mind. And it wasn't because of the great sex. Because some of you didn't have sex with your twin when you first met at all. So it had nothing to do with that. That's for damn sure. What it had to do with is the soul tie that overcame any initial sexual attraction. It was amazing. It blew your mind. And then if you were born and you connected with this person in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you would have fallen back asleep into the mundane activities of the world. Yet always in the back of your mind, they were there in some capacity. And finally, as we moved out of Y2K into the 21st century and kind of resettled our feet onto terra firma, and more we started seeing the fuckeries of the system, the 1%, right? once we realized what was going on, right? And we awakened to our own understanding of what this system is all about on this planet Earth. Of course, we awakened to the truth of our twin. And for some of you, that was the beginning of the first real sexual connection, which would have the earthquake of the calcification from the root and sacral chakra would have been. And I'll upload this. I'll upload this one. Oh, that, thank you. Yeah, it's just stuff that was in storage, and because he was so sick, we couldn't. We set up his room like this. He didn't have this on the wall, but he had a whole. Basically, that's his room with the prayer flags. He had all these prayer flags as they were, okay, and prayer flags all over the place, and it was a tiny little room, but he couldn't go up. He was too weak to go up the stairs. But when we lived together, these are the kinds of rooms we'd set up. You know, we'd have like stuff we bought in flea market, secondhand, whatever, and we would put it together. And it gave us peace. And we would do like 3 or 4 poses of yoga, and then we would listen to, Eckhart Tolle, Dr. Joe Dispenza, all these guys, all these amazing guys who really have a lot of wisdom to share with the planet. And anyway, so the loving connection you have with your twin is ever more true and pure in other realms, and the filtering system of the 3D realm, okay, is so dense. I can't say that enough, okay? I can't say that enough. That the ego, which is a double-edged sword, it has its purpose. If you were, because the soul's immortal, the soul knows, I'm not going to, even if I die, I'm not going to die. It doesn't give a shit. Oh, that's one body. I've had this body. I've had millions of bodies in different planets, different places, different timelines. So the job of the ego is when the soul is just feeling fantastic, it's like 3:00 in the morning, the music's blasting, going 160 miles an hour up, a winding mountain road. The ego's job is to say, slow down, man. I mean, this is, just slow down. But it's not there to prevent you from being in your heart chakra and from you jumping into massive moments of what you would call impulsivity, but actually heart coherent messages to go, go, go. Okay, you gotta make sure that you're going to make progress in this incarnation in always listening to the heart coherence, the speaking of your heart chakra, which is the seat of your souls. So when you go through this transformation, you'll realize that your twin, the fuckery of your twin, say 5 years ago, will never come back up, because that person that did X, Y, and Z is no longer the person today. And same goes for you. There's things that you would have wanted to do, that you desired to do, that was either mundane, greedy, wanting a Chanel bag, or wanting that sports car, or wanting a girl, and being in a place of greed, and just to feed your ego, but really, and also to show off. And these things are no longer part of your consciousness. Like, you're kind of horrified that you were that person. And so this concept that people don't change is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. People change every day. Every time you wake up, it's a new incarnation, technically speaking. Because even though you're in the same body, you slept. In a way, it was a petite mort, a little death. Usually that's used in another connotation that's more erotic. But in this case, I will say it, and I'll use it in this way. It's a little death. You go dreaming, you go traveling, and you come back refreshed, hopefully, but definitely different than when you fell asleep. You're different. Every day you are changing. Every day you're evolving. Every day you're growing. Every day you're learning. Every day you're rejecting past habits and embracing new habits, which changes you. And your twin is no different. So to think that your twin could not change, what elicited this live today and why I wanted to show you this room, which is a meditation room now, and a guest room and a meditation room, is that this video showed a woman. Well, it didn't show her. She posted a video of this man playing in the rain with their daughter. Apparently they were in separation. And she said, this is the man I ghosted for 3 months. And the title of her page, I guess, is called The Love of My Life. Like, do you get me? Like, try not to take advice for people who have not walked your walk. Try to be in your heart and trust, and try to get to a place where you understand your worthiness, because one of the massive things that caused our separation for many more decades than it should have was my lack of self-worth and his lack of self-worth and his lack of impulsivity, of his monkey mind, creating a lot of impulsive moves that were self-harming, due to the fact that there was a lack of self-love. Because when you have self-love, you don't self-harm. You don't make choices that are going to harm you in the end. And when you make those choices, it causes separation. When you are in separation with your twin, know that you're in separation because there's unfinished business that your twin has to go through, and you can't be part of that journey. You cannot be part of it, no matter how badly you want to be part of it. You cannot protect them from themselves, no matter how badly you want to do it. Same as a mother to her son or daughter. At some point, they leave the nest. They go to Europe, they go to Asia, they hike through the mountains of America, whatever. You cannot be there to protect them from themselves. But what you can do, whether you are with your beloved or you're raising a child into adulthood, is teach them heart coherence. Teach them to forgive themselves. Teach them to forgive others. Teach them to listen to the very depth of their heart and to the outside forces that are so beautiful, that are so loving, that are speaking to them, actively speaking to them constantly. The problem is we're not actively listening to the guidance of these beautiful souls that are surrounding us, that have decided not to incarnate or can't incarnate into 3D because they're of such a high frequency. It's not a match. It doesn't work. They'd have to fall like we fell. You know, when we fell from our own high dimensional frequency of understanding of our powers. So that's what I want you to understand. See? So ghosting is not the answer. If you bump into your twin in public, know that that's a divine meeting, that the universe has actually put you in front of your twin to continue the conversation. Have grace about it. Don't go freaking out, yelling and screaming like a nut. Go up to, hey, how you doing? How have you been? I miss you. I've been reading this book. I've been doing meditations. I've been doing this, that, and the other. How have you been? And look at them. Listen to them actively with your body, with your heart beating, with your eyes. Look at their body language. Look into their eyes. Look into their eyes. Don't fucking text each other a fucking thing that could change the course of your life. You don't text that shit. You FaceTime at the very minimum. At the very, very minimum, you're on the phone and you're listening to them with your body. Because what somebody says, how they sigh, how they breathe, how they pause, what they don't say, but you heard it anyway, is going to give you all the data you need to understand where your twin is coming from. If you're going to listen to your friends and you're going to text angry fucking messages and you're not going to pick up the phone, that's insane. And make a decision based on texting back and forth. 90% of the emotional coherence in a text is lost. 90 fucking percent. It's all bullshit. Texting is shit. I don't know why you guys do it. I fucking don't know why you do it. It drives me bananas. FaceTime each other. Looking into each other's eyes. See the pain in your twin's eyes. And I bet you will not be in separation for long. But most of you haven't done that. You haven't done that at all. You're just fucking playing games. And you're listening to asshole coaches and content creators who have never met their twin physically, met their twin. I just found out, like, one of my, I'm not going to say who it is. One of my friends who's an amazing human being, amazing twin ray, told me that this person, and I of course I did my research and called the other person to say, is that fucking for real? Yep, it's for real. They only met their twin once, and they've started a whole business on twin flame and union and separation and runner's chaser. One time, sweetie pie, is that even a twin flame? Is that even a twin flame? I doubt it. I doubt it. It could be, as you guys call it, limerence. I call it obsession. You call it limerence. It could be. And so what I'm going to tell you is that you follow your heart. You leave the door open. It's ajar. I mean, it's not fully open, obviously. You know, it's ajar. That means they have to make an effort to push it open fully. But you're not going to fucking not take the call. You're not going to not respond to the text. You're not. By the way, that's the Bhagavatam. Let me see if I can switch off Bhagavatam. And that, by the way, just so you know, on top there, right there, is a sound frequency wand of 528 DNA repair. I was using it on that, on him. And I was using this chart to work on his feet when I was massaging his feet. And I was just talking to a friend of his. A lot of these old timers, these boomers. I'm a boomer, by the way, but a lot of these boomers are in a place of fear, and so their inability to love. I'm not saying they don't love. Don't get me wrong, but their inability to understand this kind of transcendental love is not surprising. What I love to tell you is that Deva Premal, if you don't know who Deva Premal is, look her up. Deva Premal, and I forgot his name. What the hell is his name? Misti something. I forgot his name. Her divine twin ray partner are amazing, and they've been in union since the 60s. And they are a divine couple in action because they do a lot of kirtan and a lot of mantra singing, and I'm going to call it mantra singing, but singing Sanskrit, and you should look it up. She actually is so conscious that she's done songs, her album, she re-released an album that was very popular in 432 hertz. So she they're both Mitra, that's his name, Mitra. Deva Premal and Mitra. Amazing. And he's older than her by probably 10 years from the looks of it. But they are a divine couple. And you can, and when you listen to them sing, it's extremely healing, extremely potent energy. So you want to try to listen to high frequency music, 432, 528. My twin's favorite was 528 hertz. So that's which is the heart chakra. And 999, 1111, 174, 999 hertz. You want to stay away like the plague from 440, which is all popular music, which is a bummer because there's music I love, right? That's in 440. And 440 is on a very subtle level, but not so subtle, like hearing your nails on a chalkboard, scratching the chalkboard. It was done purposely by design to fuck us up. Just like the church bells, the cathedral bells, one by one were taken down because when you could hear cathedral bells, the resonance, the sound was would throw an incredible power, a blast into your heart chakra. You would explode into euphoria when you heard a church bell ring. Nothing to do with churches, by the way, just it was a bell used in churches. Just like the bells and the gongs in the monasteries and in Tibet, Nepal, and so forth, into India. It does something to your heart chakra. And what I would say to you is that if you decide, even a corner of your room, like seriously, if I could do it in a cottage, I was like, I think at the most it was 350 square feet, I kid you not, I did a room like that. So you can do a room like that and have a couple altars that mean something to you, right? Because each altar and where there are, north altar is for abundance. You want to make sure you have Lakshmi, for example, and so forth. Northwest, I think, northwest is for love. It's to attract love and so on. So I did repost that video so you can check it out and go there. And yeah, we're trying to get the house together now, and work in progress. Eventually I'll come back and paint this room a beautiful Devonshire cream color, and change the curtains, of course, and to something more like saris and so forth. And the space you're in, like when I first started doing this, I was getting all my stuff for 50 cents, a dollar. In other words, all the stuff I was buying, it wasn't expensive, you know? And so it's not about money, okay? It's about creating a space that makes you happy, that gives you a place to relax. What you're hearing right now in the background is a chant box, and it will play different chants 24/7. And it has something like, I think, 72 chants, different chants for different protection, for abundance, for healing. And this was the chant he was listening to the last 36 hours of his life. He was listening to that particular mantra. There's other mantras. And what it does is it puts you in an altered state of consciousness, which you need in your meditation. Sometimes you need absolute silence. Sometimes you need to hear, like, what was his name? Alan Watts has one of his favorite meditation of my twin was Alan Watts' meditation guide, where he's talking about, you're going to hear the cars, you're going to hear the beeps, the horns, the bells, the bicycle bell, all of that, and you need to just go with it. So sometimes you need silence, sometimes you need a mantra or music, high frequency music, and sometimes you need to just deal with the outside noise and work with that and do some pranayama breathing, like the train, which was it's a very quick breath. And this particular symbol that you're seeing coming up, like a mandala coming in and out, is for breath. It's for breath work, believe it or not. So that's why I chose it as a background. Well, I showed you this little, chair that I'm hoping, it's a little divan that I'm hoping you're sitting on in your mind. And so the breath, there's the 3-part breath, which is you breathe in through your nose and exhale through your nose. That's 1. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose. That's 2. Inhale through your nose, then exhale through your mouth. That's 3, the 3-part breath. The train, which he was incredibly good at, and that is actually what helped him in his passing, because he was very conscious of his breath. It was extraordinary to watch how powerful he was, but is as a spirit soul, because nothing's changed. He's just transformed. He's dropped his body. One of the breath he did was the train, which is, you do it through your nose and you're and that, believe it or not, just through your nose, okay, with your mouth closed, will actually immediately take your anxiety from 120 miles an hour to 0. It will immediately take down your nervous system from heart cortisol to nothing. And it's weird because after I set up this room, I sat down in this chair for my first meditation, and I did the 3-part breath, and then I went right into the train. That's what we called it, the train. And suddenly I was right as rain. In other words, so I need to keep reminding myself, as I'm reminding you, to do your pranayama. In your meditation, go into your pranayama. Your monkey mind's running out, do a pranayama. Do a mantra and a pranayama. Mantra, pranayama, shut up, stop. See what happens to your monkey mind. Go back into your meditation. And because I've been meditating, I've been able to continue my dialogue with him in a transformed state. Just saying. And for a lot of people, that's woohoo bullshit. And the reason I know it's not is because some of the words he used are words I would never use in a million years, not even my monkey mind. And he was doing that to show me it was him. Not to mention, he showed me numbers, so I would know it was him. Like now, 16. And now 18. So he'll show me numbers to show I'm here. He'll show me signs. I was telling my friend Andromeda Flame, I was running up a hill he would have had me run every day. And out of nowhere, there came a particular temple in a state in Florida, in a city in Florida, that only he would have brought. So my YouTube channel, I haven't looked up a temple in that area in 2 years, and suddenly out of nowhere, there came, I was listening to like ringing bells and shit, and I finally looked down, took my phone out of my pocket, and I went, holy shit, That's him saying, I'm here. And there was this opening of this temple opening to do a ceremony. It was insane. So you'll get signs like that. You'll get all kinds of signs. One of the things, and I was telling that to Andromeda, and if you want to get on live, if you can, let me know. But I know you're working, but let me know, Andromeda, if you want to go live. But 23, here comes the number again. Again, like I said. So in manifestation, one of the things we teach, me and Andromeda Flame, is we teach mantras, right? One of the mantras I've been teaching people for 10 years now is the Lakshmi mantra. 10 years. Easily done. No worries. Okay, gotcha. And so my son hasn't been able to work not because he doesn't want to, he's like chomping at the bit, but because of our situation, with my husband and our car not being exactly, reliable, that's to say the least of it. And he could do more helping me in taking care of my twin. Long story short, I hope you're not blocked, Rachel, because it says here, moderator blocked. Are you blocked? Who blocked you? Hang on. I hope you're not blocked. What the hell's going on? Let me look. No? Okay. No, okay, good. Perfect. Yeah, I was wondering, God, I don't want you blocked. Okay, cool. Anyway, so this mantra is Om Shreem Reem Kleem Lakshmi Swaha. Okay? So my son was chanting it to help us, because we're not doing too good financially at all. But, and because of what we chose to do, which is take care of my twin. And long story short, he's chanting the mantra. And guess what happens? By the way, Rachel, thanks again for that. Rachel, before I continue, thank you everyone who's donated to my GoFundMe to help with the cremation and the ceremony for my twin. I want to thank you. And if you want to donate, it's on my Linktree profile. But I really want to thank all the goddesses and priestesses who's basically all women except for 2 men, which still blows my mind. But so Om Shreem Reem Kleem Lakshmi Swaha 108 times. Minimum 108 times. 1 round. It's called 1 round if you're using your japa mala beads. And guess what he found? Behind our house, okay? Carefully folded, $130. Behind our house. No way in hell. There's been no one coming here. No one's visited. Okay, except his brother. No one has come here for nothing. Behind our house. Beautifully folded. And he said, oh my God, it must have blown away. And I went, it wasn't blown away. He said, well, what do you think? I said, it was brought there by angels, by a God. There's no one here for us to get $130 just appearing out of nowhere. Beautifully folded. And we've been in and out of that back room, the mud room, back of the house, all for months. Us, me and my son, to do gardening, to clean, to rake leaves, to do this, to do that. Months, okay? No, it came out of nowhere. And I said, it's because you chanted, and this is it's a miracle. Basically, it came. Now, if it was brought by the wind, okay. But the point is, it was brought by the wind to your steps, to your footsteps. In other words, it came to you. It was found by you, for you. And so these mantras work. And how they manifest is really, no offense, none of your business. Your business is to just show up and do the mantra and say, I need abundance, or I need health, or I need love, or I need stability in my life, or I need to feel spiritually connected to source, or whatever mantra you are going to chant. You're going to do it, not asking how is this going to occur, knowing it will occur in divine timing, when it's time, when it's appropriate for you, and it will be served at your feet. Now, in this case, he needed cash, and he got it. So that's pretty awesome, in my opinion. You know what I mean? That's like, wow, right? And so I want you to believe when me and Andromeda are on these lives, or when you take our class, when we tell you to do a mantra, just do the damn mantra and do it like we tell you to do it, because it works. Okay? And it keeps your monkey mind from, beating the shit out of you. out of your abundance, out of your health, out of abundance. To me is love, health, and wealth. First love, health, and then of course wealth. And wealth isn't just money. Wealth is the wealth of knowledge. Wealth is the connection with your spirituality and God, whatever you want to call God, the one of 1,000 names. Wealth is having an abundance of beautiful people who love and get you. That's wealth. Just so we know what we're talking about. Because what I'm realizing is that we have been a society that has really put rich and famous people on pedestals. And just like the French revolutionaries, and by the way, there were women who started the French Revolution. Women, mothers, who started that shit. Not men. It was women first who hiked up their skirts and said, fuck this. This is not going to fucking work. I'm not going to watch my babies starve. You can go fuck yourselves. And that's exactly what happened. And the men took over, the philosophers, poets, and rebels. But that's who did it first. But with that said, when you look at this disjointed connection between spirituality and source energy, and you have free will to either accept your power to manifest magic or not. And that is a double-edged sword that hangs over your head. And I would say to you that if your way of approaching manifestation or whatever the hell, how you've done it, hasn't really worked to the full level that you want, right? Grief will fuck you up, okay? Grief, losing someone you love. My son and I have now lost. In 2020, it was his father from a heart attack. He was 58. In 2022, it was my mother of lung disease. And finally, in 2024, we've got my twin passing. We've had 3 people in 4 years. That's a lot. That will fuck you up, okay? That means that you're not going to be kumbayaing. You're having a hard time doing kumbaya. Let me, meditate and manifest, okay? It's going to kick the shit out of you. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh yeah, you can, transcend this shit. No, you can't. Sometimes you can't. It's a lot. However, if you're in a good place, okay, and you're good, then I suggest you do this kind of work when things are good, so that when, as I said many times, when shit hits the fan, you're on automatic pilot and to reach for your malas, to start chanting, to start meditating, to start grounding, because you've been doing it all along when things were good. And that's what we need to get you to understand. That is the job me and Andromeda are on, right, Andromeda? This is our mission for you, to make sure that you understand the value of wealth, what that really means, because we've put these people on a pedestal, and the Met Gala, basically exploded this to smithereens. And finally, Haley Bailey with her comment, "Let them eat cake," it was like a bullet across the world. Everyone heard it. And it was interesting too, because it pissed people off, rightly so. And so when we look at wealth, we need to redefine what being wealthy means. It's certainly not being a hoarder like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Trump and Nancy Pelosi and others who are hoarders. Use the word hoarders when you think of billionaires and multimillionaires. When I think, I'm not talking about $10 million. I'm talking about 36 and above. Because you can live on 10 million. In fact, you can live on the interest for the rest of your life. But beyond that, I love J.K. Rowling. I don't know why she was given a bad rap by people. I actually never looked into it, so I'm not going to speak on it. But she was demonized for a minute. She had 1.5 billion, and she siphoned it down to, I think, 500 million. She donated the fucking bulk of it. We're not seeing that. And when I say donated, unfortunately, that's what she did. She didn't roll up her sleeves and go, let me get to work and start building fucking communities, tiny homes, fresh water. All in other words, she didn't. But I'm not gonna put her down for it because at least she fucking wrote a check, okay? And she donated, unfortunately, to these nonprofit organizations, supposedly nonprofit, that have obscene salaries. Okay, obscene. Red Cross being one of the biggest people that really pad their wallets, okay, before they do anything at all. And I know that for a fact, and I've explained that in one of my other lives when Zaire had the Ebola breakout, I think in 1996. I actually discussed why I feel this way about Red Cross. But besides that, you can become a nonprofit yourself. And that's something that some of you who are wealthy, some of you are wealthy that listen to me, honestly. And you can set up a nonprofit and you can actually go and decide that you want to, say you have a ranch and you have horses, that you're going to donate maybe 5 hours a week to kids at risk, to teenagers at risk, to go riding. To brush the horse, to put aside all of that. It sounds mundane, but it can change the very consciousness of a child or a teen at risk or foster kid, And so giving time to do things like that, is really, can be life-changing for someone, because suddenly you've exposed this kid who's probably in urban, in ghettos, okay? And here suddenly they're exposed to another way of living. And you might think, well, I'll make them jealous. No, it might make them realize, especially if you have a good conversation with the kid, that this is another way to live. They don't have to live in the ghetto. They can learn all they can about horses and maybe get a job handling horses. That could be something for a kid. In other words, we've got to give our children hope. Because a lot of the kids being born today, there's a massive amount that are just, no offense, I'm just going to say it, cattle of humanity. Okay, and some people will say they have no soul. And that's something you need to look up yourselves. I've mentioned in other lives. And then we have the starseeds coming in, starting in 1997. We're all starseeds. Many of us are, by the way. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, starseeds that are the last volunteers of that consciousness, the ones that are absolutely irreverent, don't give a fuck, and are kicking down doors, those ones that are not taking the okie doke, those ones that will not work 6 jobs, those ones that get that the system is broken, those star seeds, they're coming in to make massive changes, and they need our support. And some of them are being put in ghettos, some are being born in middle class rural situations. They're being spread like snowflakes across the world. And they need to know, and people like us need to step up as the elders, because we're all elders. If you're not born in 1987 or above, you're an elder, okay? You're like, we're all in that group. Gen Xers, I believe, if I'm correct, and boomers, right? And so we're all here to support this new generation, and the rebelliousness that they have is warranted. It's for a purpose. We have to embrace them. My twin was a very big rebel at the age of 16, and he never stopped being irreverent or rebellious or looking at different. He was looking at everybody's opinion on what was going on in America and abroad. Everyone. I mean, as far being Irish, which always in that incarnation he was an Irishman. American Irish, but he was looking at Farrakhan. He was reading papers that Farrakhan was in, articles with Farrakhan. He was reading black papers, Hispanic papers, all kinds of papers, to see what how people perceived what was going on, And he had some blockages that eventually got dissolved over time, because I was a big influence. As he was a big influence on me, I was a big influence on him, apparently. And so you got to kind of open your eyes to what other people are saying. When 9/11 happened, I remember looking at all the articles written abroad, because I already knew I was going to be gaslit. So I went to the London Times, I went to Le Monde, I went to Le Canard. I went to Paris Match. I went to Arabic newspapers. I went to all kinds of papers online to read what they were going to say about what had happened. And I was getting a picture, a more globalized picture of what was happening, not what I was being fed and controlled to read. And so that kind of the toggling between being a spirit soul, needing to do pranayama, chanting, meditating, manifesting the world you want to live in, the new earth, while also being aware, viscerally aware of what's going on and the fuckery going on, that is not an exclusivity. The toxicity of the spiritual community is that they tell you to ignore everything. Now, I'm going to tell you something. That's true. Like Katrina, when Katrina happened in New Orleans, and I saw the fuckery of our government, how they fucked this shit up. Like, you couldn't have fucked it up any worse than they did when Katrina happened in New Orleans. It was bad. I was writing, I was blogging this shit every day until it finally ended. I'm not even going to tell you some of the things today. However, if you want me to tell you about Katrina, to revisit what I saw, what I heard, NPR News and all of that, I'll be more than happy to share, sadly. But it was insane. And Mama Bush, I'll call her Mama Bush, said something that blew me away, very much like Let Them Eat Cake. She said, well, as they were being rounded up, mostly African Americans, into a stadium that had no running water, no working toilets, clearly because, the plumbing went out because of what was happening. And she toured and she said, well, they've never had it better than this. Direct quote. And so I'll answer that question in a minute, X. My point to you guys, so the Katrina, let me go back to, this is why I don't look down until I'm done. The Katrina made me walk away from watching the news. So I'm not judging you if you're walking away from watching the news because of what's been happening. Like, I'm not judging you, but be aware that at some point you need to know what the fuck's going on so that you can actually meditate and manifest and visualize the opposite of what's going on. Does that make sense? First know what you don't want, then actually go and focus only on what you want. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Do you know if any twins working out successfully without separation have been holding on? Yes, they're called twin rays. Twin rays never separate. They meet, they're together, they're amazing. And they're just fucking amazing. Okay, there's no problems. There might be a couple soul contracts, loose threads in one twin ray, I know for a fact, but they're in union and they're not physically under the same roof because of those soul contracts that need to be wrapped up. Charlotte says, yeah, it was awful regarding Superdome was a death trap. Thank you, my love. Charlotte remembers. I can't vibrationally watch the news. It's a literal program. No, but I didn't say watch the news. I said watch Eye on Palestine. Watch what's going on. I didn't have to watch Netanyahu speak. I saw one clip that lasted 2 seconds of him talking his bullshit and them standing fucking ovations for that butcher. So when we ask how it could have happened in Germany, now we know. Because we're living it, my friends. So I'm not saying, are you supposed to get through your differences if you and your twin are polar opposites? Sweetie, if you want a reading with me and like coaching, I'll be happy to do it. But I have a lot of videos that kind of talk about it. But I can't do a reading on you. Does that make sense? I can't really do that. There's a lot of nuances and your questions are valid and important. But they are a personal journey that you're having. Don't think all twins are going through what you're going through, because they're not. Okay? Because some are twin rays and some are twin flames. The twin flames are going through some maybe similarities, but they're not your thumbprint. I have a thumb, you have a thumb. My thumbprint is not yours. And it can be recognized worldwide that that thumb belongs to Tony and this thumb belongs to X. In other words, your story can't be answered on a live, to be honest, appropriately. Does that make sense? I feel you just enough to know what's going on. That's what I do pretty much. Last question. Do you know any twins that have gematria to back up that they are twin flames? No, because not everyone, again, see, there are twin flames that have the same number 9 in their life path. For example, and I'm probably not answering that question correctly, but that's okay because that's the answer I'm going to give you. And that doesn't mean that they are twin flames. Sometimes it does mean that they're twin flames. Sometimes it means that they're high-level soulmates. Okay? And those numbers are similar for multiple reasons, because 9 and 9 is 18, which is spiritual marital conflict, which is 9, co-create what you want. God's number. I don't believe that everything that is true for one set of twins is true for all twins. That's my answer to your question. Because not every twin, we're not cookie cutters. And this is what's making me go crazy. Because one twin may be an African-American male who meets an incredible, beautiful Irish girl. They have a 15-year difference. He has trauma. She has trauma. They're both in the shadows of what destroyed their early childhood, meaning they haven't come to see what happened to them, right? With being abused in whatever way they were abused. And they're twin flames, and they meet. And they meet because he's on a vacation, right? He's decided, he's gone to London. He's always wanted to go to Ireland. He goes to Ireland. He meets her taking a walk on the beach. And of course, they meet, they talk, they kiss, they separate. And he goes back to America and she's back in Ireland, and they continue their conversation. But he has his own ideas of race and relationship, and so does she. I'm just throwing it out there. And their friends and family are also wanting him not to move to Ireland, and they don't want her to move to America, and they don't want them to have children, and there's all kinds of weird fucking shit happening. And so for 10 years they separate, until one day they realize they can't live without each other. Like it is so painful that they come into union. And when they come into union, everything explodes, because their traumas of childhood, fuckery was never healed. And now they trigger that in each other because of a sexual connection, the root chakra calcification being shook, and boom, it starts. And there goes the runner chaser. And that is the story, and that's one story. I can switch it. This woman has been married to her husband for 25 years. They're high-level soulmates. They're happy. Everything's good. And then she meets a woman who's her twin flame, and fuck if she isn't shook. Because she's never wanted to be with a woman. She's never had a female girlfriend. She's never had sex with a woman. But suddenly, she meets this woman who is her twin flame, and everything she thought was real collapses. You see what I'm saying? By not twin flames, they're not the same. They're not the same. They're not the same. And so to give answers to someone whose personal journey is so diverse and complex is actually not professional, in my opinion. Do twin flames ever reunite in 3D? Well, we live in 3D, so the answer would be yes. But their consciousness is not in 3D. It's in 4-5D. So that's why I gave you a specific, examples. And by the way, I made them up, but they're based on other people's lives. I made them completely up. Not the woman, though, falling in love with a woman. That I didn't make up. That's actually occurred to a few of my clients. But the other one, no. But it's typical. You see what I'm saying? And so the problem with people that are, and I've come out of the gates like a lion roaring. I want you to understand, be careful who you listen to, because I would ask them, how long have you been with your twin? How many times have you seen your twin? I would have thought this was like, I would have never had the mendacity to have met my twin when I was 18 and been in a place of obsession and start teaching people about twin flames. After the first initial meeting, I never was with him ever again. I just stalked him on Facebook or something. That's the shit you're getting. You're getting coaches that are fucking, they met their twin once, or maybe for a weekend or for 2 weeks, had fabulous sex, and they separated, and they decided that, well, now I'm a brain surgeon. That for me took decades. I've been on this journey decades, and my journey continues even though my twin has crossed over, you know? And it continues. The relationship continues because I've been meditating for years, decades, and that continues. So now I'm able to connect with my twin at will, but I'm not going to lie to you. I miss the hell out of him physically, in the physical world. And he knows that. And he tells me it's okay. We're going to be together. Don't worry. And I'm not worried. I know we're going to be together. But the point is, right now, I still have a soul contract with other things, other duties, other things to do. And so I'm here. And I'm doing these lives because I'm hoping it helps certain people. Yeah. Thank you, Nita. That's very kind of you to say that. Sorry for your loss. You and him are more connected in soul. You are both one. I would say you're correct. And he is helping me on from his powerful place, you know, of being in another reality where he can guide me with more sure-footedness than he could in this incarnation. You have to understand, our character, my personality, his personality was formed by the people who raised us, by this society that where we grew up in a particular society, country, language, religious beliefs. And we were formed by these outside influences. And it created an egoic framework, not to mention the DNA from our family lineage we chose to come into, and all of that, you know, some scars from that particular bloodline or bloodlines, intermingled bloodlines that we chose to come into, father, mother side, you know. And so it took away our truest truth. I used to tell him, you have an elegant soul. He was a very gruff, very alpha male. Imagine you know, Norwegian Viking or a Celtic Viking, whatever warrior, and he was all that. But in his truest sense of who he was actually an elegant soul, is an elegant soul. And I realized one day he had read over 3,000 books. So he was a philosopher, poet, and he was never able to really truly express all of that in himself. He was a wordsmith, loved words, adored words, loved my poetry, loved the poetry of Rumi, loved Tagore, loved, quoted Shakespeare, loved Shakespeare, quoted him all the time from the top of his head. So, you know, the fuckery of the character he had to play, because it's a play, right? We're all playing. We all got our script, and we're doing a play, right? Impeded the magic, his whole magic, and it impeded me too. By the way I was raised, my belief systems that were force fed on me by well-meaning, loving parents. Don't get me wrong, but the propaganda machine that created our parents and grandparents stained us, not irrevocably, clearly, because we're waking up. And so our job when we come across young people that look smart, intelligent, spiritual, is to step up and talk to them in a bookstore. They might be wearing a mala or a mala bead around their wrist or crystals around their neck. Go up to them, talk to them, encourage them, tell them that your energy is beautiful. Tell them something, give them a compliment. They're probably not getting enough, I'll tell you that, especially at that age when they're young, in their 20s, 30s. Yeah, these kids aren't getting compliments. They're not. By the way, this is my favorite. This is a poster he sent me. He sent me all these posters I have up here. But this is my favorite story of free will and duty, fate, free will and fate, which I love. And this is the Battle of Kurukshetra. This is beautiful. And so yeah, so you know, you can believe in things, you can believe in multiple things that resonate with your heart, and you can throw away the rest. So, like, for example, I believe in Yeshua, right? I believe in Mary Magdalena. I believe in Radha and Krishna, right? I do believe in them. I believe in Buddha. I believe in all these incredible souls that walk this planet to make it better, you know? And so I revere all of them. I will put a picture of Yeshua here. I've yet to find a beautiful representation of Mary Magdalena. It's very Catholic tinged. It's not the freedom of her high priestess energy, which makes me sad. And I hope for one day, if I'm very, very wealthy, you know, wealthy with friends and a beautiful artist, that I could find an artist who could carve me right? A beautiful representation of Mary Magdalena with her beloved Yeshua, laughing, dancing together. Kind of like right here, you see? This is a beautiful representation of the divine couple right here. Or right here even. Look, let's see if you can see that. Him. And then look at how shy she is. You see? The representation of the divine couple. Or here, Buddha and his consort making love. You know, what's wrong with us seeing that with Yeshua and Mary Magdalene? What would be so wrong about love? And we need to have that. We need to have that in, and hopefully our artists will start stepping up. Do you ever have guests on your live? Yes, I have. Andromeda Flame is my favorite guest because, and I've asked other people. I usually only allow guests who I know, only because the first time I did a guest, I'm going to be blunt with you. The person just sat knitting and correcting like terms to be politically correct, and I'm not politically correct, so that annoyed the shit out of me because I don't want to be. I'm not 12. I don't need to be schooled, and I certainly don't need to see someone knitting on a live. You know, I can. It's not healing to me. So now all my lives are with people I know. I know what we're going to talk about, or I invite guests. I've had guests. One guest is a specialist on narcissism. She was going through the twin flame journey, and it's on my YouTube. You can look it up. And she definitely confirmed that the twin flame journey is not obsession. It's not limerence. It's not narcissism. It's a twin flame journey. It's different. And she was able to confirm that. So on the live, which was really, hi, beautiful Letty. Could I share some gematria discoveries sometimes if it has to do with my twin flame? It's short. Have you thought of creating, I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say yes right now. You may want to connect with me so I can see it. But have you thought of doing it on your channel, like doing a live and showing that as proof of twin flame in your gematria? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like for some people they need that. For some people it's not that. It's not even human design. The human design is completely not even in alignment with that. Though I will say that there are a lot of things that move into confirming a twin. One of the journeys of that confirmation takes years. It takes years because you'll be on your third or second year and you would actually go through a process of starting to wake up and having aha moments after aha moments. And so, and the aha moments are when you start seeing the numbers, and they were in front of you all along. And I've told this in many lives, not to bore you guys, you know what I'm about to say. I was born May 18th, 518. His area code where he was born is 518. He was born on the 23rd of December. My birthday, my whole birthday is 23 and 32. And my name is also 23. That's just one aspect. That's just one aspect. Okay. And, I ended up living in Central Avenue, El Centro, which is, El Centro means central. His address was Central Avenue. There was just things that went on for years that we started putting together, and we were in shock. And that's when he started. I mean, he told me I was a soulmate a long time ago. He sent me a book on Brian Weiss in soulmate reincarnation, and he had annotated the whole book, which was like a card to me, a love letter. But so back in 2008, he said, "You're my soulmate," and but we didn't understand the nuance of the word twin was not actively shown. Soulmate or important soulmate or high level soulmate was something we understood. But twin flame, the concept of twin flame didn't start really coming into our consciousness until 2014 when we started seeing, when we came into union physically and we started seeing massive signs coming up out of nowhere, like all kinds of signs, you know. And so, but in the human design, I'm projector and he's a generator. I mean, clearly that would work, but the point is we weren't, you know, you could have said, well, you know, you would both be generators. No, you know, or whatever, right? But I will say that in our sun signs, being Taurus and Capricorn, and also you're the pig and you're the tiger, yeah, that was like made in heaven, you know, if you want to say that. And there were so many synchronicities. I'm going to write a book about it only because I think people have the wrong idea about twin flames and twin rays. They have this idea that you can't be twin flames in one incarnation. And I didn't think we would make it to that level, but we did. And I'm very blessed. I feel very, very, like, massively relieved, because had we not made it, it would have been probably many more years of many more incarnations of separation before we came back again. So we did it. So we were able to step over that massive chasm that had been created by our separate egos. And we were able to release a lot of shit, like you wouldn't believe. And so there's this idea that the twin flame runner chaser dynamic is part of the journey. Not necessarily. There are twin flames that are in union, and they don't need to be in a runner chaser. They don't get caught up in what is a sign of twin flames, because you guys could be twin flames in union, physical union, on your way to being twin rays, because you've worked it all out. You see what I mean? So that's what you need to understand. And give yourself credit for that, you know? I mean, when I say that twin ray, I'm talking about kindergarten level. Okay, we're just starting out. We're like babes in the woods. We're not Mary Magdalena. By no means are we like Mary Magdalena and Yeshua. We're not to that level of consciousness. By no means are we like Radha Krishna. There's no fucking way. Let's be real, okay? We're not walking on water. We're not turning water into wine. And we're certainly not holding a mountain on our pinky like Krishna, for example. We're not doing any of these weird, magical, incredible, death-defying things. All right? We're not. But we are able to go from twin flame, live under the same roof, have some arguments, work it out, be urgent in working it out, and transmuting this energy of flame energy into ray energy, into light, right? And that is totally possible. And it doesn't matter if it's something that happens to you 2 months before one of you drops your body. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you can see yourself walking towards that end goal, and it's happening. So at the end of the day, when you feel like it's never going to happen, chant a mantra. Chant a mantra that will, from a mantra, a Kali mantra, a Shiva mantra, whatever mantra, or a mantra of love or peace, and just move on into past that feeling of despair. Like, work yourself out of that. Like, dig yourself out of it through chanting, pranayama, and so on. You know, go gardening, go ground yourself, go run up a hill, go sweat, go box, do whatever the fuck it is you need to do to get out of your monkey mind that is in a place of despair. I have sat in grief from the loss of my twin. I've sat and grieved. And when I when I go back into my heart, I feel such peace that I can't maintain the grief for very long. However, I will tell you the truth. There is a numbing feeling in my heart of missing the nectar of his voice, which I still hear in my head, by the way, but the breath on my ear, the touch of his hand to my hand. I told him, your touch is my nectar. You are every touch. I miss your touch. And with his last strength, he was trying to touch me and rub my arm and giving me the nectar of his touch. That's all he could do. He was paralyzed. But he had one hand, the left hand he could use. And so, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh yeah, you know, kumbaya, here we go. I'm fine. I'm moving on. And no, it's my reality has shifted to a new reality. My reality and what I'm focusing on is different now. And it's really making sure that twin flames and twin rays don't fall, don't lose step, don't lose hope, and that they do not fall into a massive despair or dying night of the soul because of separation. My job, with what I've got left here on this planet, is to make sure that some of you realize that, excuse me, your twin may be so hell-bent in losing that they can't be with you because they don't feel worthy of winning anything. Forget you and your love, but anything that's good for them. And death will be their healing. At some point, the universe will bring them back home and go, it's not working. She's not getting it. We're going to bring them home. And at that point, it's going to be something that, you realize with some sense of transcendental, I'm not going to say acceptance, transcendental embracing of the truth that in this life you were able to meet to activate you in a massive way, activate them in ways that they keep denying, which is not your fault. And you will continue on your journey, and they will have to continue on their journey without you. And eventually they'll be more prepared, right, to come back into union with you and to move into the level that was always meant for you guys. Some of you won't make it. I'm just going to be real. Some of you will make it. But my job, and what Andromeda and I both want for all of you, is that no matter what, you will be in union. Your soul may have needed that in this incarnation to believe. Exactly. Exactly. So at the end of the day, what you feel is never going to happen with your twin. First of all, don't do that, because massive 180-degree turns can happen with your twin. Everyone changes. We have people who have been in the streets, heroin addiction, definitely on their last breath, and came out the other side and became public speakers and motivational speakers and changed their whole life. People can change. Okay, so if your twin is in 3D, mired in 3D consciousness, I mean, they're ignorant of anything spiritual. I mean, for them, it's whatever you see is real, and what you can't see, is not real, right? That kind of sad blindness, right? Like 3D blindness. Yeah, they can change. I've just heard too many clients come to me and say, I was asleep until 2017. I was asleep until 2020. Swear to God. So your twin, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, you will, because you are on the same umbilical cord. What you feeds your twin. Whatever you read or listen to, out loud say, I know don't say, I know you're not here. Say, you're here. And every word I'm hearing, you're hearing. Every word I'm reading, you're reading. And believe it or not, you're actually going to remotely heal them without talking to them about the particular thing you're reading to heal you in your spiritual journey, right? So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well today. I hope this is, I'll upload this, and maybe next time we'll look at hummingbirds together. I don't know. But when I go up on the mountain to do anything, I don't get any cell signal, so I can't do lives going through the mountains. But hopefully if I get Starlink at some point when I can afford it, I'll get Starlink, and that's what I keep visualizing, and then I should be able to because I saw this guy on a boat. He's I don't know if you've seen him, but he's actually traveling across the Pacific Ocean, and he's got a Starlink, and there's been no issues with the internet for him. Here I am living here, and I can't get the internet to do shit, my phone to do shit. So that's the only reason why I haven't shown you more. On August 18th, we're going to have a ceremony, a celebration of life for him. And we're planting 2 apple trees, and which will represent me and him. And it gives me a kick that one day people will eat from that apple, these apple trees, never knowing the meaning behind it. But there will be so much love in those apple trees. So, you know, when you look at ceremony of life, ceremony of death, ceremony of whatever you decide to do, as long as it's heart-based, it's probably something you've done in past lives, number one. Number two, it's, you don't have to follow any tradition, set traditions. Create your own. Create your own tradition. Create your own ceremony. Create your own loving way. The right souls will find those apple trees. Exactly. Exactly. And it's, when you lose somebody you love, and especially if it's the love of your life and it's the love of your incarnations throughout timelines, it is a weird dichotomy between the human experience and the transcendental soul, realizing the abundance of this connection and infinite wisdom of the souls. Know that this is just, it's not a farewell, it's a goodbye. Goodbye. You won't see me in this suit anymore, but you'll see me again. In fact, you can see me again right now if you want to meditate, or if you want to call on me, I'll step in. And they do. And souls that don't step in for you, if somebody has passed, like a mother, father, grandfather, whatever, if they don't step in, it's because they're trying to make peace with the transformation. In other words, they're not used to not being in their body. They've been programmed a certain way to believe that this can't be happening. This is not possible. They'll see things that they've been taught to see, and then that will eventually, when they can accept, they'll fall away. That will fall away, and then they'll see things for what they are, and then they can visit you, and they will visit you. You just need to have faith that it's not you being blocked. Though I will counsel you to say, don't gaslight yourself if you see feathers or things of that nature, and you want to talk yourself out of what that message means. Like, don't do that. Just say thank you. Thank you. I know you sent that message for me. Just like when I saw the YouTube channel just pop up out of fucking nowhere. My phone was shut off. In other words, there's no reason why that YouTube should have shown that particular temple in that particular town in that particular moment. He knew I would know the message was him saying, I'm here, I'm fine, and enjoy this with me right now. Let's enjoy this together. And so I sat on the stoop and enjoyed it with him. The visuals that I was getting from that particular temple on YouTube, right? And he knew I loved visiting certain temples with him. Loved it. I would bliss out. And he did too. He blissed out. So this was very meaningful for him to send me. So they'll be sending you messages, and your job is not to gaslight yourself, because you could easily do that. Anyway, have patience with the boomers in your life. I'm a boomer, and I'm saying that as a boomer. Have patience with them, because they were trained and raised in an atmosphere that celebrated wealth, financial wealth, and things and possessions, and they would dip in and out of spirituality, but only if it was convenient, and then decided it might not be real, and then just went into the business of just getting it done, just living their life. And there are a lot of boomers that are lost, and Gen Xers and millennials are being very angry and very negative towards the boomers. But you wouldn't yell at a 2-year-old for having tantrums, and you wouldn't yell at an elderly woman who forgot your name. And similarly, you shouldn't be impatient with the boomers in them being unable to age without regret. There's a lot of them, I'm realizing. That's why I'm seeing them dancing. They're doing the dancing from the 80s. Dude, you don't think I could show you dance steps from the 80s? Please. But there's so much more important shit to do and to talk about. And the 80s wasn't that fucking great, to be honest. I lived it. It wasn't that great. It was a time of ignorance. It was a time of greed. Greed is good. Wall Street, the movie with Gordon Gekko. The Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous was on, Dallas. And in other words, everything was about wealth. financial wealth, what you wore, what you look like, that was the 80s. Sorry, that's true. And right now, we are living at a time of a beautiful simplicity, of connecting with Mother Nature, of planting crops, of raising chickens, babies, saving people, meditating, visualizing, chanting, sharing, building communities. That's a much better age than the 80s. I don't know why people miss the 80s, because we were all fucking asleep. I don't get it. I really don't. There's nothing to fucking celebrate. The music was good. That's about it. You know what I mean? Be proud of your generation. Be patient with the generations before you. The people born in the 1940s, those baby boomers are just, they were hippies. Then it became convenient to just be part of the system. My twin was born in 1947, and his soul never stopped being a hippie. Never. He was always rebellious, always. But this is a rare soul. And he was a starseed kicking down doors at a time when everyone was just doing LSD, having free sex, and then went back to college and finished and became part of the system. Let's be honest. So, thanks for offering your seat in your beautiful, peaceful room. So grateful. Yes, I'm hoping that you're sitting there enjoying the how comfy it is. It's a comfortable seat. So I'm going to leave you here. I want to thank you again for being here. I want you to think about what your role is in the transformation of this planet. I want you to take your role very seriously. I want you to really get yourself into a place of urgency. Oh, well, I have to plan it out. I've got to get my ducks in a row. If you've ever seen ducks in the wild, they stay in a row for maybe 2 seconds, maybe a minute, but then they'll disperse. There's no such thing. Some of these sayings are by design to control people, to make people think that unless they have everything in order, they can't do X, Y, and Z. That's not how life is. It's not like that. It's never convenient to speak up. It's never convenient to change your life, to transform the way you are going to approach your life. It's never convenient to be born or to die. There's never a convenient time to do it. Nothing is convenient in life. So you might as well get shit done that is being controlled by being guided, not controlled, being guided by your heart chakra. You might as well just do what you love. All right? And do it with your heart, and trust that the universe will always have your back. For real, you should say, the universe always has my back. I used to say this, and I'll leave you with that. When I started living my life on my terms at 40, it took me to be 40 to get sick of the bullshit before I took on the role of a Kali Yuga type of energy. Not Kali Yuga, Kali energy, Kali Yuga. Holy shit. No, actually, that was Kali Yuga. Let me put it that way. Because I had to destroy everything. So yes, it was Kali Yuga. I took on the role of Kali Yuga, yes, to become more Satya Yuga. And so I did kick down some doors. Unfortunately, I had to. Your heart. And to make bold decisions and know and trust. So one of the things I used to say was, I jump off the cliff. This is what I used to say to myself. I jump off the cliff, and I will always land on my feet. I always land on my feet. I will always land on my feet, and the universe has my back. That, if you want that as a affirmation, that's the one you should probably, but definitely, please, I urge you, learn some mantras. Thank you, Netta. You're such a beautiful soul as well. I really appreciate you. So I want to send you much love on your journey. And one last look at Buddha and the Battle of Kurukshetra. And get that chart. It's on Amazon. It's got on one side is the hands, on one side is the feet. It's not a bad thing to have. And create altars for yourself. Okay? Create an altar. Like, this altar is not complete. It needs water and wildflowers. Fruits and flowers and water. Okay? And create a space, even on a corner, just like a corner, like right here. Just claim a corner in your room and create something that makes you just grin, smile, and feel at peace. Just this little corner right here. Just that would be enough for you, right? If that's all you have. Because I've been there. Believe me, I have very small spaces. All right, my loves, sending you much love on your journey. I'll upload the live. I want to thank you again for everything, for being who you are, and for caring about the planet and your collective brothers and sisters. Namaste. Be well.